When it comes to Kingdom Hearts, very few things are as tied into its DNA as Keyblades are. And throughout its multiple games, they have created a slew of Keyblades that the player can choose from. But with so many, there are obviously going to be some that, sucked. So let's talk about some of them for fun. Yep, it's your boy Crimson Rosso once again, and today, let's point and laugh at 8 of the worst Keyblades in Kingdom Hearts. Starting off this list is a Keyblade you obtained from one of the most recent games, the Starlight Keyblade. Now, this Keyblade is unlocked in one of two ways actually. You either reach the very end of the game and unlock it after that sick as all hell Light of the Past moment where you battle the giant waves of Heartless by throwing multiple Keyblades at it, which is still one of the most raw moments in the game. Look it up if you haven't seen it, it's still super cool to this day. Or you took part in the limited time event in the mobile game where you played 3 of those retro style minigames to unlock it, which is how I unlocked it at first. And what do you get out of it? Nothing really special if I'm being honest. Well, it's a decent early game Keyblade for dealing with those annoying ass minigames. It feels like a pointless thing to unlock if you get it the normal way so late into the game. Getting it manually gives you such a weak Keyblade late game. Its stats are pitiful even if you do take the time to upgrade it too. It also comes across as kind of a slap in the face for the people who spent so much time playing those minigames when the big reward is just an item you can get while playing. I should know, because I was one of those people. So, you know how in some RPGs you end up getting a weapon that sounds really good on paper, but it ends up just being incredibly lame when put into practice by the devs? That's basically the Gullwing Keyblade in a nutshell. Unlocked after completing Peak Fiction, aka the Heartless War, you come across the Gullwings afterwards, and after a bit of back and forth, they decide to gift you the Gullwing Keyblade. And what's it do, you may be asking yourself? Well, a big ol' ball of nothing. It's easily, without a doubt, one of the weakest Keyblades in not only Kingdom Hearts 2, but probably the entire series, granting you an absolutely pathetic +2 strength and +3 magic, making it pretty much useless in combat. Its only real piece of worth is the experience boost ability attached to it, which can double your experience if your health is below 50% or lower. And even with that, it's still kinda worthless. Its attack and magic are way too pitiful to rely on in fights, and it's not exactly like it's the hardest thing in the world to level up in a Kingdom Hearts game. There are several areas where you can easily farm for experience points. Hell, I can think of like 2 spots off the top of my head. The World That Never Was and Disney Castle. Just go there and fight enemies and you can farm a lot of experience points very easily. So basically, you just end up with a weapon that is pitiful in attack and magic, and its experience boost ability is worthless because there are several areas where you can just get that experience easily. I don't think Square really thought that one through, to be honest. You know, one of my biggest pet peeves in JRPGs is when you sink a good portion of time into a game's side content, only for the reward to just be pretty damn disappointing in the end. That phrase I think perfectly encapsulates the Diamond Dust Keyblade. Now, in order to unlock this Keyblade, you have to reach the end game of Kingdom Hearts 1 and return to Olympus Coliseum. Once there, take on one of the optional matches at the Coliseum, and you are thrown into a fight with an Ice Titan from the Hercules movie. It's a neat secret boss that fits well with the world, even if it isn't very good. And what do you get from the fight? The Diamond Dust Keyblade, of course. A Keyblade that possesses some of the most bizarre stats I've ever seen. It's got some really good magic stats, don't get me wrong, but its attack stats are fucking pitiful. Only a meager 3 go into your attack stats, even for magic builds. There's no real reason whatsoever you can't just use Divine Rose and an accessory to give you the same results, if not better, without sacrificing so much of your attack. What makes this even worse is that this is introduced in the final mix version. So they had time to look over this boss that already isn't really the most engaging and fun, and decide that Diamond Dust Keyblade is a worthy reward for sinking time into it. really feels like they just wanted to add in a Final Fantasy reference that is similar to something else we'll be going over later. You know, I really liked the Winnie the Pooh world in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's short, it's simple, and it hosts a bundle of fun minigames and a surprisingly heartwarming story that truly shows the bond between Pooh, Sora, and friends. I just wish I could say the same about the Keyblades you get through it. The Sweet Memories Keyblade is probably one of the single most useless I've ever seen. It grants you absolutely no attack or magic boost whatsoever. The only use it has is in its equipped abilities, but unless you have an interest in completion and want a minor boost to it, it's just nothing but a piece of absolute garbage. It sucks because, like I said, it's attached to a really great side story world. I honestly kind of wish they did the same thing in 1, where you would get something like an EXP boosting item instead though. At least there are a lot of stat boosting items to collect through each torn page, so you know, it's not a total loss. But before we move on to the next one, do you guys know that really awful Winnie the Pooh horror movie? What do you think would happen if they made that a world in Kingdom Hearts 4? Like you had to battle evil Pooh Bear and evil Piglet. I don't know why, it just popped into my head while I was doing this, but man, that would actually be pretty fucking funny. Like your partner was Chris Thorndike with a shotgun and you had to battle Pooh. I don't know. Do you think that would be a fun world? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, so originally I was planning on just adding this into the Diamond Dust section, similar to how I mixed together Tarzan and Monstro on my worst worlds list from a while back. But this one actually made me so annoyed that I wanted it to have its own section so I could bitch about it. So as you can guess, the One-Winged Angel Keyblade is obtained by defeating the big bad guy himself, Sephiroth. Makes sense if you've ever even heard of this guy before, and man oh man is it not worth it. Sephiroth is one of the hardest bosses in the series, there's no doubt about that. He boasts insane levels of damage, crazy AoE attacks, and a health bar so big, I wouldn't be shocked some people thought they were fighting him wrong when you first ever battle him, considering it takes like 3 minutes for it to even start going down. It's one of the most brutal, challenging, and honestly incredibly satisfying experiences in the entire PS2 JRPG library. And what do you get out of it? You get a Keyblade with some pretty decent stats, and the only really good quality being the critical output. But by this point you probably already have multiple other Keyblades that bring forth greater stat boosts and are far more versatile. It's nowhere near as bad as Diamond Dust, and I can see why some people see it as pretty good, but man does it feel inferior to what you have to climb over in order to get it. It feels like they just give you a minor item for beating what feels like a mountain. It's also made worse when in Kingdom Hearts 2 you battle the legend himself again and receive a way better Keyblade in the form of Fenrir, the Keyblade that actually surpasses Ultima Weapon in attack power. It feels like a far more worthy reward in my opinion. I don't think it's much of a massive stretch to say the Atlantica levels are some of the absolute worst parts of the Kingdom Hearts games. Each for its own reason. Kingdom Hearts 1 has annoying ass gameplay with its stupid swim mechanics and annoying restrictions on your combat, and 2 for the painful music sections and severe lack of anything outside of that in the levels. And the weakest part of them all, lackluster as fuck Keyblades you unlock in both of them. But for this list's sake, I'm going to focus solely on Kingdom Hearts 2 Keyblade unlock for this spot. We'll focus on Crabclaw next. And this Keyblade is the mysterious Abyss Keyblade. Trust me, Crabclaw I have problems with to the point they deserve its own spot. But for now, we're on Mysterious Abyss. Now, it's already a pain in the ass to reach this Keyblade. You have to clear several songs that are mind-numbingly easy, but are also locked behind main story progression because they needed a reason to get you to actually care about this level, I guess. And man, once you get it, it is just not worth it. Its attack and magic boosts are decent at best. And I mean at best, because that's really the only nice thing I have about it. Its Blizzard boost ability also is just kind of lame when you think about how much better several other spells are in this game. Like, Blizzard is easily one of the worst spells in the game. So we're basically getting a boost for the worst spell in the game, and they really just want to slap you in the face that you wasted all of your time getting this, when you could have just spent it getting better Keyblades. I was almost certain Square hated us after this one, and boy oh boy, maybe I haven't been proven wrong just yet. Yeah, I told you, we weren't going to let Crabclaw go, and now it's time to tear this thing a new asshole. Following up one Keyblade from Atlantica to another, this one I will admit though, is better than the Mysterious Abyss was. I will give it that. But getting it is at least 10 times worse. This version of Atlantica is honestly 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, especially since I just replayed through all of it on Proud Mode for a future video. That'll come soon one day. That'll come. Don't worry. Okay, enough about future videos. Back to the Keyblade. The thing is, it's just meh. Decent. Its boost to magic is kind of nice, but other than that, it doesn't really have anything worth sitting through what is arguably the worst level in the game. Maybe even the entire series. Thankfully, you are actually fully able to skip this level. Trust me, it's far better to just head to Halloween Town instead and get the Pumpkinhead Keyblade instead of wasting even a second of your time here. You will thank me later, I promise you. Oh, come on. You didn't think for a second I wasn't gonna try to find a way to take a pot shot at ReChain, were you? There's no bigger hater to that game than me. We all know it, and it's time I flexed why. This one, however, is not dedicated to just one Keyblade. This is dedicated to a whole collection of them. So, ReChain lets you collect all the cards from the original. Makes sense with it, you know, being a remake slash remaster kind of thing. However, one thing they chose to add in this game was the option to collect Keyblade cards from other Kingdom Hearts games like 2 and 358. And how do you get them? Well, first, beat the game. Okay, easy enough, makes sense. But then, you gotta watch the entirety of the 358 over 2 days movie. Sounds really stupid, right? But okay, I guess. But that's not enough either. Then, you have to read all of the secret reports and diary entries. And then, you have to hunt down Room of Rewards cards to get them on all their separate floors. And what do you get out of it? Just a bunch of okay attack cards that you can't really use them on. That's the biggest problem of all of this. There's no secret boss in ReChain of Memories to fight. Gameplay isn't fun enough to constantly sink time into the combat. Like, what are we supposed to do with these? They're just there to collect for trophies. They're straight up pointless Keyblades. Why am I wasting time collecting this if there's nothing else to fight? Hell, this is made even worse with how tedious they are to get. What was the point of this, Square? Do you really hate us that much? Maybe, you know what? Crazy conspiracy theory time. Maybe they made it this bad so people would have more of a reason to hate this version and would go spend money on the GBA version instead. Is it crazy? Maybe. Leave your comments below if you think this might be true. And that, my dear viewers, is the end of the video. Gotta say, it was a lot of fun to return to Kingdom Hearts for a bit. I kinda missed it. I'll definitely have to start making more videos of it at some points. I do love the series, and I know all my OG fans do too. I hope I'm keeping you entertained with all the extra content I've been doing. I've been trying to offer a more varied palette, and I'm hoping everyone enjoys it. I've been enjoying it, and I hope that you are too. With that said, if you really like this content and want to keep supporting me, like and sub and leave a comment down below. I'm always loving to chat with you guys whenever I can. And that's pretty much it. Have a lovely day, and I see you all next video.